There's something exciting about a Friday night in the fall watching a high school football game. The cool autumn breeze, the roar of the fans coming from packed bleachers, great teams with great players, and of course, the smell of hot, salty pretzels and hot dogs coming from the snack stand. Things felt like that at Toms River High School East when Nico and Mario Steriti wore the Raiders silver and black on teams filled with talent. There was something different and special, though, about the skills and abilities the Steriti brothers demonstrated on a football field. Nico Steriti played with passion and a competitive mindset of pushing for every yard and leaving it all out there. He saw tremendous success on the field as a result. In just 3 varsity seasons at Toms River High School East, Nico broke the school records for touchdowns and rushing yards. Nico continued to ground and pound at the University of New Hampshire, where he now ranks 8th on their all-time rushing list and 20th in carries. His success on the field, though, came at a price, with all the pounding he took from getting tackled or being tackled and from laying out some hits, which led to 12 concussions and 2 shoulder surgeries, including for a torn labrum he suffered in college, ending his playing days after 17 years. Looking back on his time playing the game, Nico explains that sports were his way of expressing who he was as an individual and allowing those emotions to come out on the field.
As a child, I had that ability, I had the ability to compete and to perform. And it just carried me through everything I did.
When Nico was just an 8-year-old kid, he opened up his journal and wrote down that he wanted to one day play in the NFL. The same sport he played to try and achieve that goal also distracted him, he said, from what was going on in the present.
I was so focused on accomplishing something that was so far in the future, and it took me away from what I was doing in the moment. And so through the journey of just doing everything I could to fulfill my dream of becoming a professional football player, playing, 17 years of the game and to play baseball, basketball, soccer, track and field, like playing every sport, growing up and being somebody who was one of the lead performers in those sports. I learned a lot.
For a number of reasons, we're all told at one point in our lives that we can no longer play the sport we've loved since we were little kids, but our minds might not be ready to let go. Nico's journey following football was the biggest game he ever had to play.
I was in a point where I was in the dumps. I was getting mental health treatment. I was going through it. I was, going through outpatient. I've been hospitalized. So when all that stuff happens and you don't have your team and your coach and all these things that you gave so much to, your thoughts change and you think you did something that was a mistake. But through the journey of life and not quitting and continuously traveling through my fire, I realized that it was all purposeful. It was all part of it. And there was never a moment that wasn't perfect. It was just the way I was perceiving it in that moment.
Nico's younger brother Mario had a ton of speed and was a ball hawk on defense, and his reads helped earn him high honors. Mario made a splash right away in high school by playing on the varsity level as a freshman, and his future playing football was filled with potential and dreams.
My dream growing up, and every kid's dream, a lot of kids' dreams, was to play at a high level. More specifically for me, it was I wanted to get a scholarship. I wanted to play in college. I wanted to go to school for free.
While tackling running backs and receivers on the field, off the field, Mario was trying to tackle an autoimmune disease that would eventually end his career.
I got diagnosed at 14, battled with it throughout high school, tried to act like it wasn't there, but it was more of a restriction than I would have ever imagined. And then by the time I was 19, I had career-ending surgery. I had my whole large intestine removed. And, I had to face those demons and face that battle. So it's kind of like I felt like the rug was taken out from under me, kind of like my dreams were taken from me. And at that point, I kind of lost a little bit of myself. And then that's kind of when I was like, what do I want to do with this life? How do I want to live this life? And luckily, I had my older brother Nico as an outlet. I went to his games at New Hampshire. I kind of lived vicariously through him. He would call me, he would talk football, he would talk game plan. So I felt like I had that college football experience through him.
Mario went on to major in biology at Kane University and now teaches science at Barnegat High School and hopes to be a positive role model for the next generation.
Teaching that, I love science, and, it's a passion for me, but it was more that. It was more being a positive role model.
Mario also coaches running backs and defensive backs at Barnegat High School under head football coach Rob Davis, and it was a decision that put him right back in the game.
It sparked something inside of me, a joy, a passion that I haven't felt, in a few years. I love being under Coach Davis. I'm learning a lot from him and his program.
Mario also coaches with Nico at their S3 Steriti Sports School, located in Farmingdale, where they pass on their sports experience to younger athletes and train them physically, mentally, and emotionally for the field of play and how to tackle the obstacles they face.
Something I learned the most, and especially football, man, is it's the next play mentality. You can't think about last play. You can't think about the last game. You can't think about your past. You can't think about your mistakes. You have to focus on the next play, the next quiz, the next assignment, the next task. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and then doing it with the support around you. So that's why I love being on a team. Someone's lifting you up when you're down. Someone's pushing you. You're inspiring each other. You're motivating each other. You're picking each other up. You're learning from your past while going towards your future, and it all correlates in the classroom, in the school, in your life. It's all connected, and everything I do, I've learned from sports.
For Nico, it's helping athletes better understand the present moment and passing along what he learned about what it takes to be an athlete in pursuit of your dreams.
What you're doing now is going to add up, and what you give is what you get.
Nico wants to offer guidance to young athletes and teach them not to take anything for granted playing sports and feeling like becoming a starter or playing at a higher level is a rite of passage.
At the end of the day, you're not entitled to it. It's a gift. There's a day when the game ends in terms of your ability to compete on a high level, and that's okay. But to prepare and to understand that fuel and that juice you have to be transformed into your life and to what you want to do, that's what we're here to motivate kids on.
From the time they were kids playing football or doing anything fun together, Nico and Mario have always had each other's backs, and they continue to look at each other for support, guidance, and just doing anything together as brothers.
Growing up, just to start with, Nico, he picked on me, bullied me, just like a normal older brother would. Nothing crazy, but then he also inspired me, pushed me, and I competed against him. I wanted to be better than him,
But as I grew older, and I started coming into my own person, I looked up to my younger brother because he tread his own path.
I know my brother got my back, I know when I'm at safety and I'm coming up to make a play, he's back there to maybe cover my what.
And I just love the kid, man. He's my little brother. Like, anyone messes with him, I always protected him.
I know when me and him put our minds together that we can do anything we want.
On Friday night, November 27th, 2009, the Raiders closed out a 10-1 season with a win over rival Toms River North, a game where Mario broke a scoreless third-quarter tie with a touchdown, leading to a 14-7 final score. The win was, of course, the last for the seniors in 2009, and the last win and game for Nico and Mario as teammates, going out on top. For the Shore Sports Network, I'm Vin Ebenau.